Starting our recording.
I'm not a scientist. I'm not an expert in footballs. I'm not an expert in football measurements. I don't want anyone rubbing them, putting in the air in them, taking the air out. To me, those balls are perfect, and that's what I expect when I throw. I can't hold on to football. It's so goddamn hard to hold on to it.
We are diving into week 12 now, people. Trade deadlines have closed or are closing this week or next. Week 11 has made it so that there's no longer any undefeated NFL team, along with some interesting choices for the wire. Week 12 also offers some fascinating elevate, mitigate, and eviscerate decisions, along with some juicy stacks of cash for DFS. All that to say, Stacks, I'm already counting down the days until fantasy is over. How about you?
No, I am still in love with fantasy. I'm not going to lie. I'm in first place in our home league. You're about to be in second place, too. You're chasing me down for the points. I was told that my team was a fugazi back in week 4 when I was 4-0 first place by somebody who I just trounced. I'm going to beat him by like 60, 70 points. My man can't even spell fugazi. So I'm still in the heart of it. I mean, yeah, it's waning. Players are getting hurt, but I feel like this is where the real men are made in these moments, right? Or women,
Oh, yeah.
whatever you are. You know, like this is it. There's a 6 teams are on bye: Falcons, Bills, Bengals, Jags, Saints, Jets. Let's see who can play football now. So yeah, I want it to be over, but I want that cash. I want that in my hand, and I've got some chances here. I'm not gonna lie. So do you. So with those teams, wheels up. The rest of my teams I'm losing, like in Bo's league where I'm under 500. End the season, damn season today. I don't like going through the motions at all.
Yeah, I think I'm a little early in wanting fantasy to be over. But as you get to this time of year, it starts to become exhausting. It's just exhausting. And it is so funny what a swing you go through from Christmas fantasy night to now. But this year, I've said it again and again, uh, is just been, I mean, it was week 1, game 1, Jordan Love getting injured, where it was just like, are you like it all started in week 1 where I was just like, "Oh my gosh, dude." Like Isaiah Likely comes out and takes all your Mark Andrews shares and makes them trash. And and then yeah, I mean, just like that again this past week. We're right back to that, you know? So I'm definitely in the tired zone. Doesn't mean I'm not out to get my bags. I'm here to play, dude, you know.
Oh, for sure. And
Um
can I just
and when Sunday comes, it's fun. It's fun also, just like your draft. It's fun for a few hours and then it starts to become stressful and then it becomes real stressful. And then you might even have to wait a day, a 24-hour stress day to decide whether or not your kicker is gonna miss a extra point and lose because your league takes away points for losing an extra point, you know,
it
and
does
then you
sound
lose
like
by
you're in the thick of it.
1.5 points.
Yeah, it sounds like
Yeah.
you've had some experiences. I'll say I have lost on a stat correction before. I hope nothing like that happens. Cross my fingers this year. Those are the worst, where you've won by like 1 or 1.2 or zero point 0.5. You're just like, holy mo! And they come out, they're like, yeah, that was actually a backwards pass. It was a carry. It's not a catch. So you lost a point and a half and whatever. You're just like, oh my god, no! So you don't want any of that this type of the season either. I got a quick question for you. This
I
is
remember one year there was a 6-point swing on a stat correction. It was like,
I was gonna
do
say,
you
have you
remember
ever
that? It
lost
was like,
on something like that? Have you ever like won a game and then they
uh-huh,
take it away?
6 points. It was a 6-point swing on a stat. It was like multiple stat. I feel like it hasn't happened in a while though. It's like it doesn't. I don't notice it.
They're
I
getting
haven't
better.
noticed any. Yeah, I haven't noticed anything. It's been a while. I remember that happened like, could be like 7 years ago now. There was a game where I won by 6, or maybe 4, and I ended up losing by like 2, something like that.
That's just insane. That's insane. And the one time when I should have won a game and gotten into the playoffs and won the championship on a Terrell Owens touchdown, they didn't call it a touchdown, or a Marion Barber touchdown. Something, I think it was not a Marion Barber touchdown. They gave it to Marion Barber when it was a To touchdown. They're like, To's down to 1, even though he did score. And they never stat corrected it. The NFL never fixed it. Just all that kind of stuff. It is mind numbing. But today's a day of power flexing. That's the key word for the day, on my man Molson Olson, who thought he could fugazi me and kind of bully me in our group chat, which is pretty funny. And then he didn't even know how to spell fugazi too. That was great. He's trying to say there's extra letters in fugazi, and you came in over the top with your little quip. I loved it. It was a nice little Monday. To be tops in the league, and I'm not jinxing anything. I can lose, I lose. I've never won most points ever, and we have a nice little chunk of change.
Oh, really?
Yeah, never once. I mean, in other leagues that don't give out a prize for it, like I think I did last year in crab cakes, I won the most points. But who cares, right? I didn't. I mean, I won the championship. But what is the prize for our home league, the BFFs again? I want to know what I'm looking at.
It's not a set, not like it's not a nice easy number, because we give out the $35 per week for highest points to each person. So it ends up being like, I don't know, 350 or something like that. You
Hey,
know what I
I'll,
mean?
I'll get a few of those too, because I'm going to get this week's, and I've got a couple other weeks as well. It might be my
Yeah,
third week, so
that's usually why, it's really nice, is because whoever wins most points will usually get over $400. You know what I mean? So,
I
um,
love it. I'm Merry Christmas if I can get there. We got week 12, 13, and 14 of the regular season. That's it, right? Like we don't do points after that. That's that. Then you get into the big money, the playoffs.
yeah, man, I have a few leagues where I have 3 leagues where I'm eyeing the buy, and that is that's, man, if you can get the buy, that it's just so clutch, you know what I mean? Especially if they do a third place payout, because it's like you're guaranteed to play for money. So I'm crossing my fingers I get some buys here. So
Oh, I'm with you. In a couple of these leagues, I'm in first place or second place, and I ain't going nowhere, as they say. O-Dog is though. O-Dog's team's dropping. It's dropping down a few spots. O-Dog's going to be fighting for the playoff spot. So some of the other guys in the league, JT Money, F Dan or whatever, come take O-Dog down a few pegs. I wouldn't mind to see it happen myself. So. With that being said, I just have to ask you a non sequitur. We'll get back to it later in the show. Don't worry. I'm not just saying it for no reason. What's your stance on Thanksgiving/Christmas? Because we're about to be. People are setting up their Christmas lights. Are already doing Christmas already in my neighborhood. Thanksgiving is less than like 9 days away, and I already have Christmas is already here. What do you think about all this? Do you listen to Christmas music already? Do you wait until after Thanksgiving? Like how do you
um
process all this seasons changing?
I am I'm basically an around Thanksgiving person. So, like this year, my birthday's on Saturday. This coming Saturday, I'm gonna put up the Christmas tree. You know, um,
Before
we're gonna do
Thanksgiving?
it.
There's Thanksgiving's
Yeah, we're
next
gonna do
Thursday.
it. We're gonna do it before Thanksgiving. We're hosting Thanksgiving, so it'll make the house look nice too. Um, but I'm not typically like as soon as Halloween's done, like start putting up the Christmas lights. Like I want it to be kind of like this will be the earliest we've put up the tree, except for like first COVID year. I think we put it up then in like the beginning of November because you just needed some joy.
Oh yeah.
So uh, this year will be the earliest we've put it up in a while. But I don't I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me when other people start getting into it as soon as Halloween's done. Because if you think about it, I mean, it is our big, huge, major holiday in every shape, form, and fashion. And if you wait till Thanksgiving, it's really only a month. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, I don't mind a little extension. You know what I mean? I know in the past we would typically put our tree up late and then we'd keep it up for a long time. So I like to have the tree up, for longer than a month.
Oh,
So
hell
that's
yeah.
sort of my
Oh, hell
stance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what we normally do is we normally get the Christmas tree the day after Thanksgiving. Like, go out, chop it down. I'm a man, that's what I do. I'd get the saw out. I'm in there. No. Put it up, and then we leave it until, like, the 10th of January or the 8th. So it's going to be there for 45, 50 days. We spend $120 on it, whatever it is. You want it to be there, and so we really do go all out. Rose, though, because she goes all out, she does not want to listen to Christmas music before Thanksgiving. She doesn't like, so our neighborhood lights are popping up everywhere. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm running in the morning with Winter. She's already growling at Santa's, getting up. She used to be upset at skeletons and stuff for Halloween. Now she's angry at reindeer and elves and Santas in yards, and she doesn't trust any of these bastards. Which, to be fair, they could get her at any moment. So I don't mind it either. I just want to get your take. And later in our Rated X, we'll get Seinfeld's take on it all through the lens of our boy Joey Molinaro. So there's a little bit of a tease there. That's why I wanted to just kind of get your thoughts, because it'll connect if you're watching the whole show, which everybody does. You'll get that later. So, but
I mean, who doesn't love the lights? Like it is become a thing now too, where Halloween starts in October, and we don't do anything. I mean, my dad game is on E with lights. Like I've done it before many moons ago. Haven't done it since I moved into this house. My neighborhood goes wild, and it is the people who do the Halloween lights. They just like somehow turn it all into Christmas lights, and I love it. I love Halloween lights. I love all these houses. You get to see the border with cool lights. Like I think it's awesome.
same. And then you walk around the corner, it's like creepy, scoopy skeleton. Do, 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 do. You're like, yeah, this is great. I love it. Loud
Yeah.
music, skeletons. So Winter does not like any of that. If you don't know, that's my golden retriever, 3.5 years old. I run every morning with her, and it's beautiful out there. I love it. The lights are cool for me. So I'm not somebody, but don't tell my wife. We listen to Christmas music starting like this weekend, like you said, on your birthday, on Saturday. I'll
That's
listen to
when
some
you
Christmas
start.
music.
It's funny. The holiday channel came in on one of my Sirius XM stations, and it's just kind of like sort of like how I've described to you before, like how I couldn't be a fan. I put it on and tried to listen to it, and it just did. I didn't. I'm not in the spirit yet. I think I need my tree up to be in the spirit. So
That's fair. That's a fair assessment of kind of where the season kicks off. I know people are saying when they hear the Mariah Carey, it starts it off. I don't know. I think right around now is when I'm going to start kind of paying more attention, and
it's
for
like a month away.
yeah.
That's what's crazy. That's why I'm saying, like, if you want to put your tree up, put your tree up. You know what I mean? Like it's a month. You got a month and a week.
Well, you know what? I concur. Let's jump into, this is called a transition. Let's jump into our first couple segments. The first segment we do is trades to get paid. Before that, though, go follow your boy Scotty Too Hottie on Blue Sky. I am over on Blue Sky. It's just Nimble W numbers and then the bluesky.bluesky.social. Got 1,000 followers already. You guys are awesome. Do check me out over there on the Sky. It is a little bluer. It's a little less intense. There's no ads. I do have one porn bot follower. Muted that one. Got that one out of the way. Besides that, though, things are good. do follow me over there. And then also follow both of us, all of us here. We are live on Twitter right now. You can tell it's circles lit up. We're live. Go follow us on Twitter, Nimble W Numbers, the FF Millionaires. We're closing in on 1,000 followers on the tweeters. There's your boys right there. Go follow us and give the Ralph Macho a follow. He needs to get over 17.5 to stimulate a bonus in his contract. If he gets over 17.5, he'll get $1,000 this year. So he wants to make the bonus before the end of the season, kids. Let's get him a couple followers.
That number has been the same for 8 years.
Ever. Well, if you went to Blue Sky, I bet you'd get a bunch of followers right away. Cause
no,
it's
I would not.
popping.
I would tweet even. I would do less. I do less than I do here.
Yeah, you just be a watcher over there. So
that's all I am here.
which is okay.
But
yeah,
you can follow me. I did have a tweet. Look, check out my tweet. Ralph Macho. No one saw it.
okay.
No one ever sees my tweets because I don't do anything, so the algorithm does it. Check out Ralph Macho. I had a tweet, little fantasy football one.
Okay, trying to decide if Jonathan Brooks' nickname should have been N.A.Thon or Nathon.
I thought that was good.
I'm retweeting that one. I like that one.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Not available Thon.
Not available Thon or N.A.Thon.
Just Nathon.
Nathon. I like it. All right, let's jump into trades that get paid. And the way we do this is we do buy low, sell low, buy high, sell high. Talking about kind of where we want to make some moves. This might be the last. Is this the last one of the season right here? Is this it? The last?
Our league and late leagues, you have until next week. So next Wednesday, I think is for most any league going to be the trade deadline. So we got one more segment. So we'll do it next week, and that's it.
How about you are the one who leads us off, and you can go buy low, buy high, sell high, anything you want. Board is yours. Circle gets a square.
Okay. So I always start with buy low. I'm gonna do my buy low. And it's interesting how you focus on different players, and different players will kind of recur. This is someone who was mentioned before, and I think they were a buy low. If you bought low now, then you can buy even lower now on Deontay Johnson. I am buying into the fact that he is going to figure in to that offense. Lamar's on an MVP run. They just played the Steelers. I think he had 2 targets. Both the targets, though, high value targets that he was very close to connecting on. One was for a touchdown. And he's still easing his way into the system. I go back to the fact that the talent is there with him, and he's on a high profile offense where I, you know, to me, it's like, why not buy low? He might be on the waiver wire. If he isn't, you could get him for whatever person you want to put on the waiver wire. And not saying to get him and start him, obviously, based on the last 3 weeks of data I have on him, but I think big days are coming, maybe particularly in the fantasy playoffs. You know what I mean? So go back. Let's look at his schedule. Let's see what we got on Deontay for weeks 15 through 17. So Pittsburgh again, that's rough. Houston, Cleveland. I again, with these teams, these are going to be big games, and the Ravens are going to be fighting all the way, I think, with the other 3 good teams in the AFC, to see who doesn't have to play a week a week 1 playoff game. They get the bye, and I think Deontay Johnson's going to be any reason why they are able to do that. So,
well, in this league, you're gonna have to come through me to get him, and he is free. Like in a lot of leagues to buy. Who would you expect to maybe trade me? Let's say in this scenario for Deontay Johnson. What's a fair value? Like a backup running back maybe, or a tight end that's been a fringe start sit this year?
I would just pick whatever scrub is like your worst player and see if somebody wants to just dump them. You know what I mean? Like,
Just dangle
um,
a little bit of the eye candy in front of him and just be like, "Hey, I
yeah,
picked up this waiver wire turd. You want it?"
yeah, yeah, yeah. If you beat somebody on the waiver wire this week and you know they yeah they went after the same player as you, whatever. Like, boom, trade that person for Deontay.
You know the interest is there. You saw what their bid. They just lost by a couple cents or whatever. Yeah, yeah. No, I like it. Okay, my guy is another one of the guys that is on my team. So you picked one guy on my team, and then I'm going to pick another guy on my team. And I've got a lot of shares of him, so maybe I'm just doubling down with my own takes. But the last couple weeks, Devonta Smith has not done really anything. He's been a huge disappointment. So 3.4, 6.9, even before that 0.8. So he's been straight boom or bust, complete boom or bust. His week 16 and 17 is sexy with Washington and Dallas. He also has the Rams, who just gave up a touchdown to Kendrick Bourne, who just got born again. You got Baltimore. Ooh, they're not good. Carolina, they're not good either. Pittsburgh, they're good. But I mean, five out of six teams are wheels up, guns ablazing, and these teams can put points on the board. You saw the Rams; they put points on the board. Baltimore definitely. Carolina not as much. Washington with Jaden Daniels. There's these games I think have more upside potential just to need Devonta Smith. And so I think Devonta Smith is somebody who you could get. He's disappointed, and unless somebody like me who loves him and just loves him in all leagues and will not depart with him no matter what, you might be able to get him from somebody. So I would go after him. What do you think about that? Would you target him? Or you think he's somebody who's kind of maybe washed at this season stage, or has some giddy up and go left in the tank?
I'm nervous about him, to be honest with you. Yep. I don't share the same sentiment. It just seems like he. It doesn't seem like Jalen Hurts likes to throw it to his slot guy. Like, it's not. He's not looking for the routes that they have Devontae Smith running this year. Like, it was supposed to be this whole new revamped offense. And those games where you see, minus the first two, right? He's got like first three, he's got a bunch of targets. Like the week 8 and week 9 games, like that's when AJ Brown's injured, right? Like, so um, you know, AJ Brown being out bumped his value. He comes back now. Uh, I mean, the Washington game, they just played Washington. You can see what he did. So I'm not in on Devontae Smith this year. Like, I just feel like it's risky. Um, I mean, to me, he's if you think he's a buy low, it's like I think he's a headache as a
So he's
as
a
a
sell
start
low
sit.
for you then. He's somebody who you're at this point selling at this price if you're me instead of buying.
I don't even know if I'd sell him because like he'll have a good game. Like he's due for a good game. It's like they'll scheme things for him.
It was
I
his
just don't
birthday, by
think.
the way, last Sunday. They didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, right. I mean, and look, I mean that offense is going to be, I think, um, exactly what we've seen this far this year. Like, just kind of basic. Like, Jalen Hurts is going to make big time plays downfield with his arm. Saquon is gonna put them in positions where they're gonna be able to move the ball down the field with big chunk plays. Dallas Goddard's back. I think that hurts Devonta Smith as well. So I'm nervous. I ain't buying.
And that is
I'm out.
your right as a fantasy football player not to buy what I'm selling. All right. You want to do buy high now?
Yeah, I'll do buy high. I'm going Jordan Love. I've been in love with Jordan Love this whole season. Um, Out of my 8 redraft and 1 dynasty, I think I got 1 share. So bummed I didn't get him in a lot of places, but kinda has worked out for me. Um, but I think based on the way that this last game went, um, I think Jordan Love is all set up to just take off again, you know? And this past game, he played literally the best defense versus quarterbacks in fantasy. So, and was still able to do different things. Got to see him using his legs in situations. And I to me, the main thing is it's been his health, you know, and I think everything is setting up now where everybody is good, everybody is well, and I think that that offense is just going to go to another level, and I think Jordan Love's going to go to another level. So, I think right now is like your last opportunity. Also, might be your last opportunity because trade deadlines are closing. So,
Right, right. It literally might be your only opportunity.
yeah,
Well, if you look at the games coming up to San Francisco, Miami, Detroit, Seattle, maybe not New Orleans, but you got to think those games all involve a little bit of offense needed to produce, meaning that they're going to have to unleash the beast and throw the football a lot in those games. Chicago was great against the pass. They didn't rely on that necessarily. They got you have to pass the football, but they leaned heavily on Josh Jacobs. He had a great game. He owned them on the ground. That kind of was what sustained them. And then that block at the end just gave them that win. It was great. I remember I showed you that Denver Broncos guy last week or the week before who lost to the field goal,
yeah,
and I watched 2 Bears fans who did the same thing. They watched the field goal get blocked, and they were just like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" They started
right.
freaking out and just losing their shit. So I like it a lot that you're calling Jordan Love's number here down the stretch. Big players make plays, and he's definitely a big baller. So I'm into that. My guy is actually your guy right now, and your guy that you talked about on the show. We kind of talked about it a little bit on the phone today. Your boy Taysom Hill. My man went nuclear in our league, at least. I'm sure he went nuclear most places. He scored 50 fucking points. He had 3 touchdowns, 138 yards of, was this receiving? Yeah, no, carries. This is rushing, excuse me. 50 yards receiving, 8 receptions. I mean, this was just a wet dream. He's not going to do this again, but and he's got a bye coming up too. So it's there's some leverage there too. But that offense is going to need him. I think we kind of talked about it on the phone a little bit. Like they Alvin Kamara is kind of predictable a little bit. Not that you can't use him, but I mean, offense is kind of designed to stop him. This gives them like kind of another dimension that can kind of help when people do go to pivot to Alvin Kamara. And they're getting a little bit more healthy. Derek Carr with MVS, by the way, I told you to start him. He was my play last week. He gets you 20 points. So you know what? I do think that this is somebody who I think is a good buy high, and you're not going to have to wait until next week, right? Don't buy right now. Wait until he's on the buy and then buy him, and it'll just be down a little bit because he's not playing. Or you can even say, "Hey, I'll buy him now, but I'm not going to give you as much because he's not only playing 4 more weeks or 5 more weeks or whatever it is." So I know you might not be selling, but I think this is somebody who I want to buy. If you don't have him already, if you're Denny Carter right now ripping your hair out, do you buy him? And kind of where do you see the price being?
Man, I thought you were gonna put him as your sell high because he's I mean, is he ever gonna have a game like this again in this
No,
season?
no, no.
Probably not. Probably not. So, hard time to buy high, but I don't disagree with I don't disagree with the only reason why the only pushback I have is that how are you gonna get him? Because he's so high, right? And like the thing is that um I would buy high and I would give up I would he's a tight end. So I think I would give up pretty juicy amount to get him, but um I probably wouldn't do it now. Um at the same time, maybe you do. I dude, I'm huge Taysom guy. Like, I mean, I, if I have to pick my 10 favorite players in the NFL, he's on that team, right? Like he's, the top, my top 10 guys. Like, how do you not like this guy? I mean, he's just absolutely amazing. He's electric with it, dude.
He's a
Um,
baller.
yeah. He was my buy low last week, right? He was my buy low.
I
So
think you still got to buy him. I think you got to wait maybe until next week when he's off and the guy needs to start somebody. But I think the rest of the week, the Rams, they're not great against the tight end. Washington, Green Bay. You need Vegas in the championship. You need some of these.
that does give you maybe a window to buy is the buy, right? Like that.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
exactly where you're kind of angling. It gives you leverage.
that's the only way that anyone's selling right now. You know what I mean? Like they need something, you know,
Well, that's why
and
it's
they
this
can't.
week or not. Like after this week they're going to use him. So
Yeah.
next week in week 13, 14, 15. So week 12, he's not playing. Go put something in.
What
What you
tight
guys
end would you trade for him?
I mean, I might
Like,
trade your boy Trey McBride for him.
would you
I would.
really?
I would trade him for him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Trade tight ends for tight ends though. Like I'm thinking more of an RB2, like
yeah.
maybe Tracy or somebody like that. That would be. Chase Brown's even too good now. Chase Brown before, maybe, but now Chase Brown's in there.
Oh, yeah. Chase Brown to the moon, dude.
Chase Brown's for president. I mean, that guy's the man.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. Okay. You want to do sell low or sell high?
Do sell low.
All right, you're up.
I'm going. This is just straight gut call. I mean, this is just prognosticating
Analytics.
into
Just
the
call it straight
future.
analytics. This is heart and soul analytics.
I the Jets debacle. This player has probably been featured on maybe both of our sell lows at times, but I think that the way this season finishes out for the Jets in the fantasy world, that this past week with Garrett Wilson is a sign of things to come. I think Devontae Adams is getting more and more acclimated to the offense. I think his targets will continue to go down, and I think Devontae Adams. And meanwhile, he's the number 4 wide receiver in the league, right? So
Good that he's number
yeah,
4, but the drop off is coming, right? He's gonna end number 12 or number 11. I mean, it's not gonna keep
the
up with.
drop off is coming, and you have to start him. You have to start him because he's the number 4 wide receiver in the league, right? Like,
It's a girlfriend you picked
Garrett
in
Wilson.
freshman year. You got to stay with her for the prom. You got to go to the
Right.
homecoming. You got to do all the things with her.
That's right. Exactly. And so to me, I just gut call Devontae Adams. Aaron Rodgers is done. He's retiring as soon as this season is over, and he feels horrible for what he did to Devontae Adams. So he's going to feed him the ball as much as possible as he rolls out of New York City.
He doesn't have any allegiance to a third-year wide receiver who can barely fit in his uniform. I mean, he may be better than Devontae Adams or whatever in the scheme. He has no allegiances. So Devontae is his boy. I like that call. Yeah. Okay. My sell low is somebody who, I don't know what happened to him. I'm not sure. But I'm going to pull up his stats, and you're going to be surprised at this, Mike Collins. You're not going to, you're going to go, what? I can't believe, no. Kyren Williams, everybody's fantasy darling. I didn't really get any shares. He's ranked 7th, so you're thinking, oh, he's crushing it. No, he's not. He was crushing it. But the last 3 weeks, 12, 12, and 10, he's still getting the volume, but 0 touchdowns, 0 targets, and Blake Corum had 5 rush yards or 5 maybe 6 yard or 6 rushes, a reception. So like he's getting a little Corum now as well. So I don't know about Kyren Williams. I'm not saying he can't bounce back or he won't, but Philly's a tough run defense. New Orleans you can run against, but San Francisco, you can't. That stuff. So he's got some hit or miss matchups. So I'm a little worried about my guy Kyron. He's a big name, and I think you could still get a lot for him. He's seventh, so it's not like he isn't, still around, but he's just not been performing well. And you've got Puka Nakua healthy, you've got Cooper Kupp healthy. Those guys are balling out, and it's just kind of the offense is not touchdown wise flowing through him now. So, what do you think about this? Are you buying or are you selling?
Unaligned with you on Devontae Smith, neutral with you on Taysom, just because it's such a big buy high and it's just absurd his value, his cost right now. But still, because I'm such a Taysom mark, neutral on that. 100% aligned with you on this one. Double stamp, um, Fantasy Millionaires. Yeah, um, I just I just think that his role has changed as soon as Puka has come back. Um, and you know, he'll have his moments for sure. But there's 6 games left if you make it all the way to week 17, right? So, um, I mean, 6 weeks. Uh, I'm I think I think the way it's going to go over the course of those 6 weeks is maybe he has 2 good games or something like that. So, I mean, I think he's not going to not have any touchdowns over the course
Right,
of the rest
right.
of the fantasy season. Like that's not happening. You
No,
know,
no.
I'm sure he'll have a double touchdown game. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I mean, I'd rather have Puka Nakua the rest of the year than Kyron Williams.
1000%.
Yeah, if you could flip
1000%.
Puka for Kyron, go talk to the guy who's got Puka. Be like, hey, I got Kyron. See if he's nubbing it, not in the championship or not on the hunt. Maybe you can get that flipped.
Yeah.
Turn now. My turn for my
Sell
guy.
high.
Oh no, it's your turn. Sell high. Yeah, who's your sell high?
I don't even really like it. I couldn't find anybody, but I guess I don't know. Seems like a good time. The good thing about now is like when you do sell highs, you don't have to pick super high value names because we're almost done with fantasy football. So, um, and honestly, I don't know if you'll agree with it or not because he is really the number 2 on the team. But I'm going with Juwan Jennings. Uh, coming off this really strong performance this past week. Um, 49ers lost to the Seahawks. Juwan Jennings was heavily involved. He looks great. Um, yeah, man, 11 targets over the last 2 games. So I I don't feel super strong about the sell high, but here's the thing: the last 2 games, you're Kittleless, right? And I do think that they're going to you know be now you once you have Kittle back, you have McCaffrey. I think the way that the defense went this past week, it was just schemed up to stop Debo. Um, and then Pearsall was, a ghost. So I just think it's a good time because I think, you know, um, I, I I don't think that this is going to be a week in week out thing. So and I think there's people out there that think that it will be, and probably smart fantasy players.
Yeah,
And I
I
could
mean,
be
I
dead
think I might
wrong.
be one of those. I think I would make this
Yeah,
trade.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
So you want them?
I do want him.
Yeah,
That offense is one of the best in the NFL, and I think you're
yeah,
right. Kittle will make a problem for him, but Debo also has been hurt over the course of this year too, so you never know. I mean, he Jennings has been hurt too, so I mean, but they need him, and 22 targets in 2 games. Damn, damn, that's hot.
yeah. I know.
It's hot.
You know.
So okay, yeah, but I'm not. It's not a bad call. I think I'm the guy that you're selling to. You know what I mean? Like, if you got
Right.
him, I'm buying. You know.
Right.
So,
Right.
all right, my guy. We talked on the phone a little bit about him. I kind of made a joke, but I don't really like trading quarterbacks necessarily, but it happens every once in a while. But um, Jared Goff is, just it's what basically Jared Goff's a boomer bust QB. He has got ridiculous weapons, and at any point, Jameis Williams can just go for 89 yards and get you
Right.
12 points or whatever. And so you've seen that this year. You even talked about you had him earlier in the year and kind of he fumbled the bag in the beginning. But I mean 38, 38, 27, 23. He had a couple of duds, 15 and 11. Didn't play him in those matchups. But against shitty teams, Indianapolis, you're playing him. Buffalo, you're playing him. San Francisco. So, there's games up above you're going to, or up in the, not up, but in the future that you're going to be playing him. So I think you sell now because you don't want to probably play him against Chicago. You
Mm-mm.
probably don't want to play him against Chicago again. You know what I mean? So I think I would kind of, myself, even since I do have him, I might be putting him up on the block and looking for a sell, someone to come and rescue me from myself. I got Kyler Murray anyway, so I don't really need him either. So if you got two quarterbacks like a Jared Goff, flex him for somebody. Get a second string wide receiver, get a second string, running back even, a flex player, but, do something with them.
I'm with you. I mean, the Lions, we did talk about it, and all I said then is the same thing I'll say now is just, when they get down in the red zone, you might get an Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown, but chances are you're going to get a David Montgomery touchdown. You know what I mean?
Ground and pound. They are
Right.
they love it. They love to just churn the butter. Let's run. You said they like to run from the 3rd and 11 on the 11 third and goal from the 11, and I
Yeah.
said, yeah. Then after they don't get it, they like to run it on 4th and 4 from the 4,
Right.
and then they do score, and you're just like, fuck you. Well, unless
Yeah.
you got David Montgomery, then you're just like, Montgomery, yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
okay, is that it? Is that the end of the segment? Did we segment ourselves out? Did we?
That's it.
That was
That's it,
it.
baby.
Oh, show's over, buddy. That's the show. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. But that is one of our favorite parts of the show. Next, we're gonna hit up The Wire, and I don't have any cool music, but I'll be like, The Wire. I don't know. We got The Wire. Let's talk about QB, RB, WR, tight end, and a little bit of DT. We'll start with QB though. Who are you picking up? Who's on your radar?
Um, Man, Matt Stafford,
Yes.
Derek Carr, Drake May, all still out there, dude, and all just really viable
Mm-hmm.
options.
C.
Yeah, Matt Stafford. I mean, Puka. I, I I don't think either one of us got any Puka this year, and I think some of that was due to circumstance of draft position. And then both of us were kind of on the fade. Um, but I was never on the fade. I don't even remember what had me on the fade. Like it was just um that he was in the first round. Like it was like I was like fading him 4 positions or something
Well,
like
you
that.
just
You
had
know
to
what I
pay
mean?
up the most expense. He had to hit every ceiling marker, and the fact that he got hurt kind of proved a good, avoidance. But now he's
Well,
back.
no, it's him getting hurt, the fade was the move, but now that he's back, Puka Nakua is the truth, dude. I mean, I'm listing my top 10 players in the NFL on the Taysom team, you know? Um, the my top 10 favorite guys. I think Puka Nakua's gotta be in my top 10, dude. Like that guy is just everything you want in a football player, man. Like just absolute beast. And so now Stafford has what, you know, we've all been waiting for him to have. Like he's got Cooper Cup and Puka Nakua and they're healthy. And, you know, the Rams are starting to become a problem, dude. Like, um, you got Sean McVay back there pulling his genius moves. Yep, sending down the signals, cover zero,
Cover
boom, Cooper
zero.
Cup.
Yeah, cover zero. He knew.
Yep, Cooper Cup's doing a 80-yard touchdown to the house. So Matt Stafford, dude, I love him rest of season, man. Like he's I think, if you're playing QB carousel, like, I don't know, I'd pretty much dump whoever your second one was for this guy.
Yeah, I'm with you. He was my number one pickup at QB. My other pickups, just to kind of look and check and see. Tua's still around, 43%. He's got good weapons. You know what I mean? He's somebody who you might just kind of stash and dash. Anthony Richardson too. Um, you know,
Yeah.
man, he's back and he got 33 points. He got a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown. Oh no, sorry, two rushing touchdowns. Excuse me, two rushing touchdowns. He ran over number 35 for the Jets. They're still trying to find where his mama lives so we can take him home. So that was just a diesel performance. And you know what? Detroit, he's going to have to ball. New England, they suck. He's going to have to ball. So there's some games coming up. You could use him at least.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. Anthony Richardson is out there. And they've stated he's going to be the quarterback for the rest of the season. So
Good. He should be the quarterback for the rest of the season. I do like Joe Flacco, but unless he gets hurt, he just needs to learn how to play football.
right. I mean, and honestly, you do. I mean, he's an interesting. It's just this way with rookies. I mean, he's not a rookie, but he's essentially a rookie because he only played what 3 games last year. So um, you got to give him a little bit of time. And the thing that you do see is that there are just signs where you're like, yeah, he could be what everyone thinks he could be. He just needs reps. So, but I'll tell you what, this year's draft class, I mean, in terms of quarterbacks, like Drake May, that's another guy that's out there and just like Bo Nix, Drake May, Caleb Williams is playing better. I mean, Jaden Daniels, and then we haven't even seen JJ McCarthy, but I think he's going to be good too, man. Like, I think we kind of got into fantasy in the golden age of NFL quarterbacks with Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Philip Rivers, Drew Brees,
Tom
like
Brady.
Tom Brady. That was a pretty amazing. I think that this draft class has the potential to offer up like the next you know, the the next era of great QBs because all these guys are mobile too,
Yeah, it's
and
a new dawn. It's a new way of playing football where people
right.
can roll out, scramble. I mean, look at Justin Herbert. My man's got wheels. And you don't think of him as like, oh yeah, that guy scrambles. But I mean, pretty much almost everybody as a prerequisite needs to scramble. Kirk Cousins cannot even move out of the pocket, so not great. Drake May though, he can fly. He's got wheels. He can run. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, what about running back? Who are you picking up for RBs? Not a lot of options, by the way.
I mean, okay, Cam Akers. That's I think a pretty solid one. I also thought Roshan Johnson's usage was
I've got Roshan as my
really.
my guy. He had red zone touches between the
Hmm.
tackle touches, the big boy touches. So yeah, I like Roshan.
Yeah, I mean, for this late in the season, I think both of those guys. But then you also had injuries to Alexander Madison and Zamir White. So that opens up, you know, potentially for at least a few weeks, I think, with both of those injuries, the Raiders backfield. And so you got Amir Abdullah or the rookie Dylan Lobb.
Ooh, are the best ball
I don't.
truthers, the lob boy is going to be fine.
Yeah, he might. It might be his time, dude. He might be the RB1. So I think all four of those guys. Um, you could potentially take a stab on whichever one you're thinking. I think all four. They're to get a decent RB at this point. Is nice. So WRs, MVS is still out there. I mean, um, why has that guy played with Aaron Rodgers and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and all of a sudden it's the Derek Carr moonballs that lands ever so softly in his hands. Like all he needed to unlock his talent. I'm stealing this tweet from it was a tweet that I saw that said this, like, all he needed was Derek Carr to unlock his talent, you know, not not three of the greatest quarterbacks ever, you know.
No,
So,
not
so
their bullet passes or whatever. He needs that, you know, that
just
missile.
soft moonball.
Well,
Yeah.
three catches, two catches. He's over 200 yards and three touchdowns. The efficiency is insane, insane. You know, you can't
Mhm.
expect it every week, but
Mhm.
you love to see it.
I mean, it just does seem like the way that system works, you and Derek Carr's skill set, I got MVS in one league, didn't start him, wish I had, wish I'd played him in DFS last week as well, like, for sure, I think he's definitely the most intriguing because I do think, yeah, it's kind of that, Rashid Shaheed last year look. I think Rashid Shaheed took a step forward this year where he was actually not just getting 3 targets for, 120 yards, but that's what MVS is doing. He's playing that, just, stretch the field and Derek Carr will throw it to you.
Right.
So,
He's got the pre Shaheed role before Shaheed kind of cemented himself as getting 8, 9, 11 targets a game and being viable. And I mean, MVS will, if he keeps doing this, he will get more targets too. That's how targets work. So, expect more from him too if he's the best wide receiver they have because of injury, whatever. And even if Chris Olave comes back, good. Then he'll be even more one-on-one coverages. Right now, he's the man, and they can't stop him. So, yeah,
I think it's awesome. I mean, I remember last year I was huge on MVS going into the season with the Chiefs because I just thought there's no way this guy's going to keep dropping the ball. Like it's fluky. Like it's just fluky. He plays in the NFL. It can't happen.
it's always cold.
And
It's always cold, and he's dropping the ball in the cold. Maybe he's indoors in a dome, and he's like, I just
that's what it
needed a
is. I
dome.
mean, it's finally figured it out, dude, because he's catching the ball. So I think he's really intriguing. Curtis Samuel, I think, is intriguing. But I think the two main
I like
guys you
that.
got to look at are Kendrick Bourne and Elijah Moore, who we mentioned probably last week. As soon as Jameis was elevated, you could see he likes him. But yeah, Elijah Moore with another big week. And what is he on? He's in season 4. I remember when he was a rookie, you were a huge Elijah Moore guy.
I
Um,
love that guy.
you
He's a
know,
beast.
I know. I think he's a beast too, man. And man, everybody who's a Browns fan just has to love that Jameis Winston is back there now, dude. It's just a whole different thing for every one of their wide receivers.
I mean,
So,
Jerry Judy, he broke the slate. Jerry Judy was the man in the game. I think he had 11 targets, something like that. Let me go and just check Jerry Judy because I played him, and let me just see what. Yeah, back to back 11 target games. My man, 8, 11, 11. Jerry Judy might be the find of the season here. Picked him up off the waiver wire like nobody even cared about him.
mhm. Mhm. Yeah, man. I know. That's exciting, right? You got to be excited for sure.
I mean, I have Deontay, my Johnson's been sucking it up, and then so is my other trade guy Devonta Smith. So all my Deontays have not Johnsoned me. So I needed a little bit of Judy to bring it in. So no complaints, but yeah, I'm with you there. I like your prognostication here on the old Elijah Moore. He does seem that touchdown too was just perfect. 2 feet in, turned, protected the ball away from the shield from the DBs. He took the hit, absorbed it on the ground, didn't cough up the football. I mean, it's just, yeah, Jameis is looking good. So I like it. I'm with you on that. I had Kendrick Bourne on mine as well. I think he's been getting 4 or 5, 6 catches every game, and you throw a touchdown in there, you can, he's on that slant route. Him and Hunter Henry are the red zone targets. So I like that call.
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. Yeah, I think he had like 8 targets last game, something like that. So, yeah, I'm excited. All right, let's do tight end. I think there's only one, right? Who's out there?
John who's out there, which is crazy.
Well, if Johnny's out there, yeah, that's the one of the week, right?
Well,
But
I think Janu, if you look even in ours, we've just got a great league, and so people normally are not
oh
available.
yeah, he's out there in our league.
But actually, he's out there in our league, right?
He
And
was my he was my elevate for last week.
nice call.
Yeah.
Great call. Your call, elevate Janu. Mine was elevate Will Disley. They both got you 20, 30 points. Between us, we get.
That's who I wrote down for the wire because Will Disley's definitely still out there too.
Yep, Disley's available as well. Both the guys from last week, basically not retreads, but listen, if it's happening, it's happening. You got to pay attention.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Defense. Who you on the defense for?
I'll take the Bears versus the Vikings. Little scary. The way Sam Darnold kind of bounced back, but um, the Bears, they're just so good against the QB, and um, they're available in 38% of ESPN leagues. So I think this matchup isn't as scary as it was like week 6, with the way Darnold over the last 5 games has given the ball up, coughed up the ball. So I like this game to be tight and close, and the Bears to get some sacks. So I think they're a good pickup.
I'm going to co-sign this and use this as a springboard to go into elevate, mitigate, eviscerate, and say because of this Bears defense, I am going to be mitigating Sam Darnold this week at QB. He's been mitigated before. He should just not be starting anymore. I want everyone to know. Sam Darnold has lost his starting position in your fantasy lineup.
He played good though last week, dude.
I'm just telling you, against the Bears, he's not going to play good though.
He's my mitigate too.
He's your mitigate. See, what a great mitigate. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I couldn't say rest of season. Like
okay, maybe not rest of season. I'll look up his schedule.
He balled out versus Tennessee. He got like 31 points in our league.
He did do good. Hold on, let me just say.
Yeah. No, he did. He had like 3 touchdowns. I mean, he finally stepped up. But I'm with you. That's who I have written down.
Okay, Arizona, yeah, you can play against them. Chicago, no. He's got a couple of starts.
Arizona, Atlanta,
and Seattle, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
I mean, I could see myself starting him,
Yeah, his busts are terrible. 30 and then 4, 25, 39. You know what I mean? So Chicago for sure. Do not play him this week.
Right, I'm with you. Yeah. That's who I wrote down as well. That's my mitigate. Okay. Sam Darnold versus the Bears.
Who's your did I already get to mitigate? Well, I should be doing elevate. I just went to mitigate.
Oh, let's do mitigate. We'll do mitigate first, then we'll do elevate.
That sounds good. Who is your mitigate at running back?
I've been doing this pretty much all year. Who's ever playing the Chiefs, and as hot as Chuba has been, you got Nathan coming in probably this week too. You've been waiting all year to start not available Thon. And his first weekend, he's going to play the best rush defense in the NFL with the Chiefs, coming off a loss. I hate this matchup for Chuba and Nathan.
Love this call though. I think it's a great call, and I love the Nathan. If you don't know, that's how his name is spelled. It's not John, and then it's John Nathan. It's really interesting. It's like they accidentally mixed up the letters, and no one told them. Yeah, it's great. Okay, so I'm gonna co-sign your mitigation, and my mitigation is it's Roschon Johnson against the Vikings, right? I'm not sure if it's going to be Swift and Roschon. I think the Vikings are pretty good against the run, and it does make me a little worrisome. When I was looking up, actually, let me go look up my guy. Swift has been a top 12 back, I think maybe top 15 back or so this year. Let's see where he's ranked at. He's at 16. Okay, yeah, right around there. And we look at the last couple weeks, he's got 17, 9, 15. Each of those, he's got about 16, 15 carries, which is good. the games he gets a touchdown are the games he's going to get you over. The games here he does not get a touchdown against some of those tougher defense. He's getting the 6, the 9, the 7. So I'm not saying don't play him because he's got a touchdown upside, but this week the Vikings are pretty good against the run. That's kind of what they do well because they're terrible against the pass. That's one of the worst things they do. They don't do anything against the pass, but I'll pull up the run real quick and we'll see.
Their second best defense first run, right after the Chiefs.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, right here. They only give up 16.69. So you can just see that. Let's say it's 18 points they give up, and let's say you split that between Swift and Roshan, you're getting 11 and 7 or 10 and 8 or whatever. It just doesn't seem like a really great play, either one of those backs. So I just be wary about the Chicago kind of coming in there. On the other hand, I'm not elevating them necessarily, but when we get to that, we'll take a look at the Chicago Bears wide receivers. I think they might be a little more tantalizing in this matchup.
Interesting. Wonder. All right, I'm going wide receiver. I'm going man, the Broncos, they just shut down wide receiver ones, dude. I mean, that's what they do. So Jacoby Myers, I don't like his chances this week versus the Broncos. Um, you know, the the only viable option at wide receiver on that team, tough to sit if he's like your wide receiver 4, and you're flexing him. But yeah, man, coming off a bad week at Miami, and I bet you his stat line looks similar this coming week at Denver. So
Yeah, I thought this was my one of my first calls, and then I just started thinking, Brock Bowers is the number one wide receiver on that team. Like that guy is
right.
the freaking truth. And so, I think in these matchups against Denver, KC, you just, maybe KC a little bit you could play him, but I just think that the floor there is so low and the ceiling is not even that high. So it's just kind of one of those like,
right.
I like the call. Okay, my guy for wide receiver is we didn't mention him, but we mentioned everybody but him on his team, and that's not good. And so if you were paying attention during the Cleveland Brown wide receiver conversation, we talked about Jerry Jeudy, we talked about picking up Elijah Moore. We did not talk about Cedric Tillman, and Cedric Tillman hasn't been playing terribly necessarily, but you just see him losing out a little bit on the quality of targets, and so he went down from 28 to 19 to now 7.7, and Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore both getting more targets, high quality targets, better targets. I like Tillman, but against Pittsburgh, I don't like all three of those wide receivers. It's a tough matchup. And so I think I'm not going to play Russian roulette with my Browns wide receivers. I think I'll play Jerry Jeudy in this matchup. I don't think I'll play Tillman. I don't think I'll play Elijah Moore, but I think I'm comfortable playing Elijah Moore before I'm comfortable playing Tillman. And just looking at the usage lately and the amount of targets and where those targets are, the touchdown, equity in Jeudy getting a touchdown and Moore getting a touchdown, and those targets being, just more viable for them. In even the amount, I think Jerry Jeudy was over 140, 150 yards. My guy only got 47. So even the air yards were down for Tillman too, where that kind of Jeudy took over some of those plays that he would get those 50-yard bombs in the end zone. It's Jeudy now. So I'm kind of leaning away from Tillman. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, that's how I would rank it if I'm starting any of those wide receivers. I kind of feel like I gotta go just like watch a whole back-to-back session of games and just like wrap my mind around what's happening with Jameis Winston. But I mean, I just love the F it, you know Judy, Tillman or Moore down there somewhere mentality, dude. Like it's just so much better. Like y- they're a viable team again because he's not holding the ball for forever like Deshaun Watson was. So,
Well, you
yeah,
miss 100% of the shots you never take, and Jameis
right,
Winston has never met a shot he didn't like, and he takes them.
right,
So, and I love that they cut to even his misses on the red zone. Like red zone, they'll just be like Jameis is under center, You're like, oh, something. He's gonna throw a long one. It could be an interception,
Yeah.
incomplete, or a touchdown. It's gonna be
Yeah.
exciting. I can't wait.
Shooter's gonna shoot.
Yeah,
Shooter's gonna shoot
they just
for
cut to it.
sure.
They just cut. They're just like Jameis Winston with a bomb. And you're like,
Right.
oh shit, and it'll be like incomplete. Like three of those
Yeah.
last time. I'm like, you fucker,
Right.
you're just teasing us.
But he's launching it,
Oh,
dude.
he's just like, he does that thing where he leans his whole body back. You know what I mean? And you're like, God damn, he's gonna fucking chuck that thing. So yeah, welcome back, Jameis. We love you. We do. We're big fans here. I played him in a Millie Maker lineup. Won me $30. So I had thought I put
Nice.
Judy in. I put Tillman in. So I'm a little bitter. Maybe that's why I'm sitting him. But
Ah.
all right, who's your tight end you're sitting?
Do not like this matchup versus the Eagles for Colby Parkinson on the Rams. Eagles defend well against tight ends. One of their specialties. Again, with Puka being back, I just think there's no reason to roll the dice with Parkinson this week.
I mean, you take away that one touchdown and that one target and that one reception, he's got a zero burger. So
Right.
you don't want that kind of variance. Where, Mike is Tucker Craft, and man, Tucker Craft fell off a cliff. I like your Jordan Love, but this week they're playing the Canadians here. No, thank you. This week they have a little bit of a tougher matchup, and my boy Tucker, he's not been selling out lately. He had a strong start, but he's been fading 7.7 after 16.8 here in week 8, and then coming off a zero burger, one target, nothing. Just not what I want to see from him. Better days were ahead. San Francisco's actually pretty good against the tight end, and that's kind of where my concern is. You go to tight end rankings, and they're a top 6 team here. They've only given up about nine points per game to the position. 350 yards, so not a lot there for him. And I just think there's better players that you can start at this point at tight end. Hunter Henry, maybe even Mike Gesicki. Players who just getting more target, more volume in their offenses. So I'm sitting that gentleman.
Will Disley.
Will Disley to the moon, baby.
Yeah, for sure. All right, yeah. The defense I'm sitting is back to this Eagles game. I'm sitting the Eagles versus the Rams. Yeah, man. I think I think this is going to be a good game, man. The Eagles, they really have come together, and they are now one of the elite teams. I think that win versus Washington was huge for them, and I think they showed like um, things have changed since the beginning of the season. Like they're coalescing as a team at the right time. Um, and I think it's going to be interesting this week because so are the Rams. And I do think that this game, if I'm picking right now, I think I'm going to pick the Rams. But either way, I think it's going to be, a fun, high scoring affair. So
Vegas is already has it at 50 and a hook. So yeah, they think the same thing. Philly top 6 defense, but in this matchup, you could just see like touchdown after touchdown. That's what I'm saying. Devonta Smith's gonna be involved in this motherfucking game. I cannot wait for this
sure,
week. Yeah, he's gonna get his. So yeah,
this could be a Devontae Smith
it could
week.
be. I like your call. I'm with you a lot. Um, I looked at that one too, so that it always makes me happy when I look at something, I don't choose it, and then you pick it. I'm like, yeah, he was thoughtful there. My mitigate is the Chargers this week. They're going up. Their DST is pretty good. They're ranked 5th. They're going up against Baltimore, and I do think that they know Baltimore pretty well because the Harbaugh connection. You got the brawl. I don't know what you're gonna call it, whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
Brother versus brother. But I just think the total in this game is 50 and a hook as well. You know what I mean? And so Vegas thinks this game is going to go off, and so the Chargers are a good defense, but I think this is going to be a shootout, just like that game last night with Cincinnati was. Just these are big guns, big plays, lots going on. So if you have the Chargers D, I probably would just try to sit them and not have to get Lamar'd personally.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. I'm with you. All right, let's do elevate. Back to that exact same game because it's Justin Herbert versus the Ravens for me. Yeah, man. The total is at 50, like you just said, and my boy Herbie, I just you gotta love this guy, man. Slipped through the cracks in this fantasy year. I don't even think of all the different quarterbacks we've mentioned, I don't think he was somebody we really focused in on the waiver wire. Like he's just sort of snuck back into things here. And yeah, look at the last 4 games, dude. Homeboy's balling out. And all of a sudden, he's Lamar Jackson. Like he's taking off for 40-yard runs. So I do think that this game's going to be interesting. Um, but the Ravens are so stout versus the run, and this is what the Chargers like to do. But uh, the game done changed. Like everybody was so off this offense going into 2024, and a big reason why was it was just going to be this slow pound the ball, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Justin Herbert was injured. And that is how it started out. But he was injured. And now he's not in it. His plantar fasciitis is not there. He's taking off and running for 40 yards, dude. And then meanwhile, like, yeah, Ravens stout against the run, a sieve in terms of pass defense. They're a pass funnel defense. So I am very excited on the one team I was able to get Justin Herbert off the waiver wire to use him this
The
week.
Ravens have given up 16 touchdowns receiving, 17 total because they gave up a rushing one, and they've given up 2,084 yards so far in only like 11 games or 10 games. I mean, it is a shit
It was almost
show.
all to the Bengals, though.
These are good quarterbacks with good receivers. We'll see what happens. He's mine as well, and I will just say this in my defense. I brought him up last week, so he was my number one QB to add last week. I did do a little sell job on Herbie, um, but besides that, no, we have not talked about him very much, and we didn't draft him. We didn't talk about drafting him because, yeah, you see the beginning of his line. It was terrible. It was 14, 17, 12, 14, 18, 19. You can't draft somebody and have them 7 straight weeks on your bench be worthless. You know what I mean? Like, so,
Mhm.
and then he picked it up, like you said, week 8, New Orleans, Cleveland, Tennessee, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Atlanta. I think it'll continue. So I'm with
But
you.
it's just the talent's always been there with him,
He
right?
was injured, like
So,
you said. But the offense, the
right.
fear also was the way they were going to run
Yeah.
the offense. The
Yep.
hardball. You got hardballed. Just 4 yards in a cloud of dust. 4 yards, a cloud of dust. Now we're gonna throw a little hitch. I mean, Lad McConkey's done well too. So they have been
So
able
good.
to kind of figure it out a little bit now with McConkey and Quentin Johnson. I think in any of these receivers are a good play this week. By the way, I don't think maybe not Palmer, but Quentin Johnson. He's somebody who I consider playing in a DFS for sure. They're probably low priced. So. All right, my elevate is Justin Herbert. So I'm going to do my running back, and I want to get your thoughts on this. If he's restricted, no, but it looks like he will not be, and hopefully he gets, if he gets 60% of the carries, I'm cool with it. Isaiah Pacheco is scheduled to come back this week, and he's playing Carolina. Now, I've not heard about any restrictions, but like I said, if they kind of already know there are some, then maybe I'll fade away. But they've given up 1,300 yards, they've given up 16 touchdowns, and I like that. I like all that combined yards, almost 1,800 yards to running back so far through the season. So Carolina is a defense that can be plundered. If you're Isaiah Pacheco, this is the game you want to come back to. A sieve of a defense. What have you heard? What do you think? How are you kind of feeling Pacheco out if you've been stashing him? Because I do have him on a couple teams where he's been on my bench for 5 weeks or 6 weeks, and now it looks like the dust is getting kicked off, and we might be playing some ball now.
Yeah, I would be hesitant only because number one, I mean it's a juicy matchup, literally the best matchup you could have. Um, but at the same time, um, don't they play like the following Friday or something like that. Like, what's the week 13 schedule? There's some they have a short turnaround. I know I was reading that somewhere. Um,
Speak of the devil, this is my
yeah,
interactive calendar, Collins, and they play in the Brazil game on the 29th. So, yeah, they play on Sunday,
they play on a
and then they
Friday.
play
Yeah,
Friday. So that would make me think, though, that Pacheco, which game do you need him for more? They're playing the Raiders, and then they're playing the two worst teams ever, the Raiders and the Panthers. I think they could beat them both without him, very easily.
that's why I could see him just being eased back into business. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would be hesitant to
Okay, that's why I
start
asked.
him
That's why I
only.
wanted to see what you thought about him because you want to play him in these matchups that are just so juicy. Otherwise, it's almost like a lost cause completely.
Yeah, I mean, he fractured his tibia. Who knows what secret medicine they're giving people. A lot of times, from what I've seen, um, that they're not good right away. So, what I would bet, could be wrong, because maybe he got some stem cell treatment that's brand new or whatever. But what I would expect is that um, they give him carries. They were trying to win the Super Bowl. So I could just see them giving him minimal amounts of carries so he can actually feel what it feels like to get tackled by a 400-pound guy. You know what I mean?
I'm feeling you.
I'm not expecting I'm not expecting a lot of usage. That's
Okay.
my thought.
Okay. All right. I will taper my expectations and only play him if I have to in some leagues because, yeah, you're kind of right here. Cream Hunt doing the job as well. He's been
Right.
cream hunting. You know.
Yeah.
All right.
There's no reason to rush him.
Who are you elevating at wide receiver?
Well, my running back, I didn't do my running back.
Please forgive me,
I'm gonna
Jerry.
do. I don't have any deep thoughts. It's a. I think he was my mitigate last week, so I'm taking him off the bench, and I'm gonna start Rico Dowdle versus the Commanders in Week 12. I think this is a sinking ship, and I think he's going to be one of the only pieces on this ship that could potentially be viable week in, week out, outside of CeeDee Lamb. And the Commanders are somewhat of a run funnel defense. Throw in the PPR work that he gets, and I think Rico Dowdle will be viable week 12.
So play there. I like that play. All right, I've got a guy here for elevate at wide receiver. You might already have elevated him. Maybe you have not elevated him. I'm not reading your horoscopes, but he's somebody who I could see you not playing, and it's Mr. Roma Dunze. He's in a situation where Caleb Williams has kind of been hit or miss, up or down. But what I like about a Dunze lately, and you might like it too. Last week, Homeboy had 10 targets. I really like that. In this matchup next week, they're going to play against Minnesota. Like we said, Minnesota is one of the worst against wide receivers. Dunze, a big slot receiver, like or outside, wherever they put him, he's big. He's a big hoss of a man. I could definitely see him against Minnesota doing something similar to Westbrook Akina and going 90 yards on that defense. They're not great. If you're going to play zero coverage too and blitz the quarterback, which, Caleb Williams, I could see them coming after Caleb Williams. They like to do that. Brian Flores is their coordinator, ex Miami coach. He's a baller, and so I think Adunze is somebody who with 6 teams on bye, I think he's viable this week. I think he's somebody you put in your flex. So I'm going Adunze at wide receiver.
Okay. Um, so I wrote down Roma Dunze as
Oh,
my
shiitake
elevate for wide
mushrooms.
receiver. I do think I don't know what it is about Caleb Williams. I don't hate him, but there's just something
You
unlikable
like he
about him.
paints his
But I
nails or
also
something. You get that weird vibe.
it's a combination of different things, but I also do like him. So he kind of gives me like an Aaron Rodgers type feeling. You know what I mean? Like I there he there's a level of arrogance to him that like could like it and I could hate it. And but I am seeing I see him take steps forward, then he takes steps back. He's a rookie. Um, I believe he took a step forward last week, and I think that this connection between the rookies is real, and I think that it is something that is going to be um, more prominent rest of the season, and I think this game in particular is where you're going to see it again.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the
I'm with you.
future of this franchise is those two players, right? And so
Mhm.
you want to get those guys on the same page. You want to get them humming against a team like Minnesota where you know you're going to be trailing. And I mean, I don't even need to go and check and see what the line is, but I'm sure it's going to be at least 5. So let's just see where the line is right now. And it might be like 47 or it's 38. 39. Oh, it's -3. It's only -3. Interesting. Okay. They don't like this game to score a lot of points. Well, Vegas.
I don't either. That's what I
Yeah.
said. I don't like this game to score a lot of points.
Yeah,
That's why we have Sam Darnold mitigated.
We are, but the Roma Dunze thing, I think he does. I think he scores. So,
well, either way, I think he had a 12-point game PPR last week without scoring. So I do think that that's kind of starting to become a floor going forward for him.
I mean, he leads the team in receiving yards at almost 500. So, let's go.
He's your guy.
Let's go.
Yeah. Let's go.
Who's your elevate at tight end? Is it Will Disley? Because that's, I mean, you can't, Disley.
Nope. I've been focusing on the same game. I mitigated Colby Parkinson versus the Eagles. I'm gonna elevate Dallas Goedert versus the Rams. If Devontae Smith doesn't pop off, it's gonna be Dallas Goedert that pops off. AJ Brown's gonna get his, Saquon's gonna get his. Who's going to be the other guy that steps up? I think it's going to be Dallas Goedert in this game. Rams really struggle at defending this position. Dallas Goedert had a decent week last week. He's back. He's doing things. And I think that this is another opportunity for him to this is the end of the season and you got to win games. So I think they try and exploit the Rams linebacker core and get him involved.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think they do exploit the Rams. You stole my guy again, you son of a bitch.
Nice. Yeah, did you do Herbert as well?
Yes,
We've got
Herbert was my guy too. So
we've got a lot. We're on the same page.
We've been coalescing, and I like that. I like the Goddard call. I'm not elevating Devontae Smith yet. I might play him. I have him on my team. It's a toss up, but I'm not going to elevate him. If I've got Goddard, I think I like Goddard over Smith this week. Even though Smith is more boom potential, but I do like this call a lot. My defense, I told you to mitigate them last week, and so my defense is going to be the Chiefs this week against Carolina. So, I told you don't play them because they're playing against the Bills, and I was right. But I think this week, against one of the worst teams, you play them.
Coming off a loss.
Yeah, too. I think they got something to prove this week. And so Carolina, let's see what the total is right now. It is 41.5, minus 11.5 for KC. That's probably going to get up to 13, I bet, maybe 14. But yeah, good gracious. I think that's going to be a route. So that's my elevate. How about you?
I love it. I love it more than mine. I'm going Texans versus Titans. Just throw up a defense and look for who Will Levis is playing, and the ball seems to bounce in your direction. So
it's a tried and true. I mean, the first 4 weeks he was on an epic string of just insane plays with him clutching his hands as he threw an interception away, or face planting on someone's butt, or just crazy shit was happening every week.
Right. He's wild. So I'll take the Texans in this game.
He's the mayo man. You know what I mean? He does commercials where he's all sexy with mayo and shit. Like, what a weirdo.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. All right. Who do you want to eviscerate? I only have one person.
I got nobody. I just because it's six different teams are on bye. I can't really get. Deontay Johnson would be somebody I might consider eviscerating, but I know he's got value. I'm not gonna eviscerate him, but I mean, we can go to my team right now, and I can actually see on my team who I
What
would.
about Dontavian Wicks?
Yes,
You
I
gonna
would
play?
eviscerate. I mean, he'll pop off next week, but for my team
I
right
don't think
now,
so.
I mean,
I don't think so. I think Christian Watson's kind of emerged
Raheem
back to being
Mostert.
what
How
he was
about
supposed
that?
to.
Raheem Mostert.
Raheem Mostert. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to drop him because in case Aching gets hurt, he had 0.1 last week. He had three rushes for -2 yards. I mean, that's mitigation out the ass, you know,
Yeah.
or evisceration out the ass. So yeah, Raheem Mostert might get burned. So, but
All right, let's do our stacks of cash.
all right, mine. Here's my problem with all of mine, and I will tell you mine right off the break. Right, they're all in the same range, which is kind of weird. Like because pricing for QBs, there's the highest value or priced up person is Jaden Daniels, 7K. I feel like all of mine are in the 12 something range. So mine are kind of mid. There's not a huge pay up, and then there's not a huge pay down either for mine. So
Oh, I got them all tiered out. Awesome.
all right, good. I
I
want to hear
really do.
yours because I've got mine. But give me your first one.
Yeah, the platinum. Speak of the Jaden Daniels. Dude, I love Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin this week versus the Cowboys, dude. I think huge bounce back. 13.8. It's a platinum stack. There's no way these two great friends now don't go out and make a point of uh, just doing their thing. Um, coming off a rough loss versus the reeling Dallas Cowboys. I think this could be a 2 TD game for McLaurin. And I think Jaden Daniels uses his wheels again. I think this is going to be a big game for both of those guys. So that's my platinum stack.
Okay, I like it. There's no hate rate on your platinum stack. My platinum stack is a little cheaper. Yours was, you said 13 something.
Mhm.
Yeah. So mine is I think it's only 12.6.
Okay.
But it is Jared Goff, who we just saw, kind of blow up a little bit, with Jamison Williams, who
Okay.
he is he's my guy here against Indianapolis at 6K. Give him a little game log here. He went 4 for 124 last week, 25 points. It's not very expensive. If you're gonna go Amon Ra though, and that's where kind of like it was. If I went Williams, it was cheaper. If I went Ra at 8.3, it's much more expensive. It's even more expensive than your stack.
Right.
And it could be the play to do again this week. Indianapolis's defense is not very good. They give up big plays. So, but I do like Jamison Williams just because, he's priced down $2,300 cheaper. And
I like it.
yeah, so that's one of my plays. What about your gold stack? Who's in that one?
I went with Nix and Sutton at 12.1. They're continuing to develop their connection. You know, playing the Raiders, a juicy matchup. So yeah, I think they have another big game between them too, and it's 12.1. It's a cheap gold stack.
Yeah, I don't understand. Targets 8, 9, 10, 11. And he's still priced pretty. I mean, he hasn't gone off, but I mean, 26, 21, he did. He's under 6K. It's a
I
value.
know.
I like it a
It's
lot.
so much value. So much value. And it's such a juicy matchup too.
For Max Scherzer's, it's ginormous. All right. So mine, my gold stack is 12-2, and it involves Patrick Mahomes against the Carolina Panthers, and let me put him in here real quick. Patrick Mahomes, and then suddenly nobody likes him anymore. DeAndre Hopkins.
Love
He
it.
went up against a pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, against the Bills team, pretty good. He was
Mhm.
It was 58, so he went down. He didn't do great last week, but
Love it.
I do think there's a D Hop bounce back, and it's a nice
So do
little
I.
price boost here. You got Mahomes here, and it's only 12-2. So I
Yeah.
think you could do worse. What about you?
Yeah, silver, dude. Silver is my favorite, and I'm hoping to convince you to start this because if we do this, I mean, we have so much money. How about even though the line is low, we already looked at this game. How about Caleb Williams with Roma Dunze? 9.8.
Double stamp, no races. I'll do it right now.
Dude, I mean, we can do whatever we want now. Like, that's a freaking beautiful stack right there. So Caleb Williams is 5,100. Like, give me that, dude.
I, I like this, and we could even, if you wanted to, uh, well, I mean, do we want to put anybody else in it from that game? Do we want to do a run back in it? I mean, do we think Justin
I
Jefferson
I
does anything, or
I mean, I don't think we need to. I mean, we could. I mean, that game's a low total, so let's just bet this one piece, right?
something else?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a
Let's
look
go
at
to a
our,
high
our
total game. Let's go back to that Rams game. How about our boy Puka Nakua?
mm, is that game on the slate?
Oh, uh, it's not. It's
Mm.
nighttime. It's nighttime.
Oh, that's a
Breaker. No Puka. Um. Hmm. Yeah.
what about
Well, we could go back. We could do. I mean, we could do Hopkins. We could do McLaurin. We could do both of those guys. Then we
yes,
could
let's do
pay
both
up
of
for
those
running
guys.
backs.
Let's check the RBs.
Yeah. I mean, if Williams hits, and then we get double touchdowns out of either one of the Hopkins or McLaurin, you know, I don't think we're gonna. You
What do
just
you
got to
think
pick our
about?
running back.
What do you think about Kenneth Walker or
I love it.
David Montgomery or
I
Gibbs?
love Kenneth Walker. I
Okay.
love Kenneth Walker. Yeah.
Do you want to do David Montgomery or do you want to do Jameer Gibbs? Either one of those guys, or
David Montgomery's nice and solid, safe, and he's always cheaper.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
Let's do tight end.
Here for tight end, where you leaning?
I mean, how much do we have left? Let's do defense first, and then we'll. Who should we do at D?
I mean, we could do the
We're
Bears if we
gonna.
wanted to.
We could do the Bears. I like it. 2,500. Now we
We have
still
11-8
okay.
for two positions for flex and tight end.
Okay. All right, let's go back to tight end.
I mean, we could do Jonnu Smith for 4,100.
I don't mind it at all. And we got a juicy flex.
We got 7,700 for flex.
Yeah. um, how about our boy Nico Collins? I mean, we could swap him if for
If he
some
doesn't play,
reason, yeah, there's something wrong with him. You know, we'll know shortly. But
yeah,
I mean, that hamstring should be all good. Like, yeah,
I'm
Nico
down.
Collins
He's a
has
beast.
yeah,
Yeah, he's a beast.
yeah. It's Nico Collins. He was running away with wide receiver one.
He was crushing it. I'm putting it in. We didn't win anything last week, by the way, but one of these weeks
Okay.
we will. Sold. All right, let's go to rated X. You want to do yours first, or me? Whatever you want to do.
You do yours. Mine's not the typical one, so you do yours.
Okay, mine is not the typical one necessarily either, but I will put it up here. It is the aforementioned Joey. What's his name?
Joey
Molinaro.
Molinaro.
Molinaro. Yeah,
Okay.
here we go. This is
All right.
him. I'm going to go back a little bit here.
You tell me when to mute
Yeah,
myself.
I will. Okay.
Okay.
Putting it up here. Going to get the volume on. Okay. You ready?
All right. Ready,
Three,
set, go.
2, 1, go.
She asked if I wanted to come over to help her decorate her Christmas tree. And? Christmas tree, Jerry. Not familiar. It was November 3rd! Too early? Too early? Too early would be November 30th. I still see pumpkins on people's front porch, and she's ready to throw out the tree. The tree put up is a fine timeline. You put it up too early, people think you're nuts. Put it up too late, what's the point of even putting it up? See? And the disrespect to Thanksgiving. Gotta have Thanksgiving. It's a necessary lead up. You can't just hop into bed and go at it. You gotta have some foreplay. Thanksgiving is the foreplay. Sure, it's not as good as Christmas. It has the potential to make it better. And it's definitely less fun with family around. Anything with my parents would qualify as less fun. Especially foreplay. No, especially Thanksgiving. You'd rather have your parents around for foreplay than Thanksgiving? At least foreplay, I'm getting something out of it. Thanksgiving with them, I'm just questioning my existence. Hey, when do you put up your Christmas tree? I never take it down. Nah, it checks out. Why not? Why use it as just a Christmas tree? I use it to celebrate every season. An Easter tree, a Halloween tree, a 4th of July tree, and when everybody else is dragging theirs back out, I'm good to go.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome.
I'm a big fan of him and all his different Seinfeldian things he's been doing. So, yeah, shout out Joey Molinaro.
Yeah. No, that's great. I'm a big fan of his too. All right, I've just sent you mine. Tell me when you want to put it on. This one's might have a copyright issue, but since we get 20 views, I don't think we're gonna get in danger of losing it. So crank this nice and high. This joint gets you hyped.
Fakes left, now taking off. Gonna run for it, he got it! And there he goes! Inside the 10 to 5! Oh, the play of the year in the NFL!
I stopped it after just a few seconds because it definitely was going to get us kicked off of YouTube forever.
It won't. No one will see this.
You never know; those psychos come after you.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. It's so weird how it doesn't get you kicked off Twitter too.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I freaking this one just gets my. I mean, that was a moment in this 2024 season, right? Like that was just. I love the song. Like, I mean, he put the city on his back. It's like 4th and 2, 4th and 3, and he takes it to the house in just epic Josh Allen fashion and style, dude. And then you got the Foo Fighter song. It just, oh man, give me this all day long, pumping in my veins.
I'm going to give you the win on this one because I think this might, like you said, might be one of the plays of the year. You know, so
it really is, man. Like I mean, that's yeah. I'm glad you're feeling this one. All right, I've got a really funny one since I won. So, here, go to yours. Send it again. Yeah. This is from Miles Brown. It tweets, Aaron Rodgers always shaking his head like he can't believe what happened when he's what happened. That's one of my favorite tweets
Yeah,
ever.
Tim, it's you. It's the
It's
hot
just
dog guy.
exactly. I mean, you just love it when somebody puts into words exactly what you've been thinking, but you never quite said it that way. That's what I've been thinking for so long watching him.
It's like the dad who doesn't understand why his kids are misbehaving, and it's because of him, and he's all upset, and he's causing all the problems. So, yeah, Aaron, I'm sorry, buddy. It's Jover. With that being said, this week, big week, right? Might be the last week you can trade in your league. Make those moves, get those guys, do your thing. Let us know. And if you listened to us last week and you started Will Disley and you started Jonnu Smith and you started MVS, you're welcome. You're welcome. Do it again this week. Mike, I'll let you get us out of here.
All right. War, chaos, pain, heartache, destruction, playoff elimination to all your opponents in week 12. Peace and love everywhere else.